Wow, look at this space, the light space. It looks so awesome, doesn't it? What's going on? I'm Sam Corbel, the founder of Light Eye, where we empower light ideas. And this space is once again transformed. There's a few things that may be an illusion in this room, but I can assure you what's here is real. I want to welcome you to the light space, where we create unique experiences that are interactive and immersive. At Light Eye, we like to tell stories about light based on the facts and give you a chance to learn a little, laugh a little, and get excited. Today's event concludes with a live Q&A. So while you say hi to your friends in that chat over there, make sure you type in your questions and stick around until the end if you can. We'll get them answered. Before we get started, just a couple things too. Make sure you're streaming in 1080p. It looks good in here, and we want to make sure that you feel the same way. We know that you've been busy and you've spent a lot of time in front of your screen over the last year. So we're gonna keep this short, and you can hang out for just 20 minutes or stick around for the entire Q&A afterwards. Today, we've got our friends from Cooper Lighting in the studio. Let's meet all of them. Kevin Strickfaden, he's the head of product marketing and development behind Perceive. Cheryl Fabian is the lead product and marketing manager for the Portfolio brand. And Lance Bennett is the Vice President of Specification Sales and National Accounts for all of Cooper Lighting. We are all here to talk about a new technology platform they've developed. It's almost magic because it creates a perceived illusion. But make no mistake, it's real, isn't it, Lance?
It's more than just real, Sam. We've just launched our next wave of innovative products coming right at you right now. Hi everyone, I'm Lance Bennett, Vice President of Specification Sales and National Accounts. You might know Cooper as a large company, full of products and brands, and we are. But did you know that each brand stands for something different? We are committed to adopting new technologies and initiatives across the board so that you have a connected solution both inside and out. This new magic we've been working on, some might say it's powered by happiness and unicorn dust, is a part of Metalux today, but tomorrow it'll be a part of a few more brands like Corelite, Portfolio, Shaper, and Failsafe. And it's all about a distinct solution that helps differentiate an indoor environment, making it feel cool, look different, elevating your experience and design practice. It serves the needs of the occupants in the space, integrating technology and creating a long-term satisfaction at an affordable price, and that is a priority for Cooper. Because let's be real, it's always over budget, whether it's the dollars or the watts per square foot, it's never in budget. Early on in the LED revolution, Cooper launched WaveStream, an optical system that differentiated traditional form factors. It solved the problem about how to deliver light in a meaningful way while mitigating glare and catering to the needs of recommendations like the WELL building standard. Right here, right now, it's time to talk about how we are at it again. Are you ready? It's time to catch the next wave. It's showtime!
We've all rode the wave into the studio here at Light Eye, and we're excited to have you surfing with us today. Let's surf into the traditional needs of a commercial space when it comes to interior lighting solutions. Dots, lines, and planes. There are three ways that we can all interpret light in a space. Dots have been around for a long time. Lines are a more recent and modern feel, and planes have become something that is a little too simple at times. Flat panels. They leave a little bit to be desired, don't they? With open architecture, large floor plans, and a need to illuminate the space, it's important to tie design concepts together and keep a space cohesive. Would you like the opportunity to design around a family approach of dots, lines, and planes? Better yet, enable an intriguing experience that creates curiosity and makes your space look cool without really even knowing what made it happen. Being able to utilize existing infrastructure and form factors, but customizing it to make it your own is what the technology Perceive is all about. Do more with what you have when it comes to the budget. Who doesn't want a deal after all? Everyone wants to differentiate their design. You know, spice it up. Make a space cool. Create that wow factor. Do it with light. Perceive things in a new way. Innovation is about solving problems, like clean installation, how to manage perceived and measured glare, and how to make sure you use less material to be sustainable in manufacture. Think about material cost reduction when you're building 3 million 2x2s a year. No need for 3 million louvers. That saves material and reduces your carbon footprint. Let's talk about the magic behind this unicorn and the happiness it brings. Oh my gosh, holy smokes. Is that a real unicorn? Where did it come from? Is it magic dust? Or is it just Eric, the product manager, in a costume? The happiness and laughter and even joy you're getting from this, it's real. Emotions and our sensory abilities are real. Perceive is built to invoke emotion and use the power of our sensory system to create the technology built around these microprisms. Kevin is over there embracing his imagination. He's also a unicorn. He's creative, he's imaginative. He's literally a unicorn, and it's what inspired him to create this technology, Perceive.
Actually, Sam, it's magic, powered by happiness and unicorn dust. That's what I'm thinking about. The magic of Perceive is the optical element that was created to bend light, not block it, and put it where you need it. This culminates in an efficient system up to 135 lumens per watt. The microstructures are used in unison with an engineered diffused light source that creates elongation, cutoff, and redirects light. This creates the perception of shapes on a flat surface, where a variety of visual effects can appear in the space, but seemingly shift as your location changes around the room. They can be in harmony with the design, complementing the surroundings, or intentionally becoming a distraction. Visual relief is important when you're focused on a computer screen for hours at a time. Plus, variety's fun. The beauty of it all, the choice isn't ours, it's yours. This hologram doesn't come without the power of the human mind though. Our eyes have the ability to see a wide range of contrast and dynamic range. You've seen images like the endless staircase, two dots that are the same size yet different, blocks that can't stop moving. The same exact thing happens here with Perceive, but is created with light to add an illusion of texture and spatial depth. We've designed this so that anyone can appreciate it too. While it looks cool, it's built for everyday applications. You know, those lines, dots, and planes in a space that are just luminous and maybe a little bright. Perceive has the ability to take what might be an afterthought and add curiosity to the space, or allow it to complement the surroundings. It's cool. Anyone can appreciate it, whether they know it or not. Often, good lighting is reflected by an overall good feeling, one like happiness when you're in a space.
Cooper has built Perceive as a technology, a broad platform that takes advantage of three things: luminous forms, a thin optical system, and the power of the human mind. It's innovative and it helps you push your design forward. Let's face it, parabolics are old school. It's out with the old and in with the new. Nothing to block light or any physical barriers. It's integrated. It's kind of cool, isn't it? Perceive is actually just getting started too. It's going to be integrated into multiple form factors. But for now, I'm going to let Kevin walk you through what's up in the cloud.
The recessed troffers are available with and without a door frame. While it limits the service from below option, without a door frame, it cleans up the overall edge of the system. All 6 of the patterns are available in both options. While we've done some homework to come up with these standard designs, there's an opportunity to push this concept when you've got a need for, say, several pieces. Think about a sports logo, company logo, maybe a unicorn. All right, enough unicorns, huh? The magic dust is really the team of hardworking engineers and product development specialists we have. The 6 patterns for Perceive include both geometric and organic, and include the bevel, the prism, the pyramid, waves, leaves, and ripple. Available in a 2x2, 2x4, and 1x4, it can deliver up to 10,000 lumens and be mounted in a grid, hard ceiling, or surface mount. Resting above me is the bottom axis door frame housing, but there's also a top axis only version without a door frame that cleans up the edges. Just look at how clean of a detail it is. We did that for you, the design community. Since we really wanted to go for it, we've incorporated dynamic light options that include low-end dimming down to 1%, and the ability to include Vivid Tune, an out-of-the-box tunable white solution that plugs into wavelengths.
Hey Kevin, this wavelengths app on the iPhone, this thing's pretty cool. You can dim lights on the fly. I'm impressed. Do you want to check this out? The wavelengths app is seamless. It's easy to use. It's an interface that allows you to control each light individually or group them together. The Continuo SQ4, that 4-inch square profile up there, the linear that's seamless without any gaps, now has Perceive technology built into it. Lance, tell everybody a little bit more about it.
Sure will, Sam. Thanks. Each platform that Perceive technology is incorporated into is built to drive a luminaire that will minimize glare and provide a luminous solution to create uniformity throughout the space. It really does send light in all directions, but controls the light and can help you achieve requirements to meet the WELL building standard. Think about each microprism as a minion diligently doing its job, seeking the light, capturing the light, and shining the light right where it needs to go. What do you think of my flashlight? I'm not a minion, but it can guide me to the workbench. And here I am at the workbench. The SQ4 is an all-in-one solution where everything fits inside the body of the housing, including wavelength sensors, drivers, batteries, UL 924 transfer devices, and the single-piece lens. Shipped in a single roll, it's designed to be installed in the field, slide into the bottom part of the extrusion where it can capture the light and the minions can go to work. In addition to this, there is an indirect batwing distribution that creates a uniform distribution on the ceiling and allows you to maximize the spacing of rows up to 14 foot on center in a typical 10-foot ceiling. There are a wide range of direct-indirect configurations with lumen outputs that can vary from 250 to 1800 lumens per foot in each direction. These can be specified to meet the needs of your project too. While the Perceive lens is a great option, You can also choose to complement this design with a simple frosted lens that can be dropped or regressed. Alternatively, use the regress baffles. The cost-effective solution is easy to install too, with mounting points that can adapt to ceiling conditions, sliding along the length of the housing itself. Kevin crushed the plane. That's the line. Now here's Cheryl to tell us all about the Dot.
The Dot is something that's a brand new addition to the Perceive portfolio of products. You guessed it. We've taken this technology and incorporated it into portfolio. The Dots of Light are going to start simple, but will grow into several form factors over time that include recessed down lights, surface mount, and suspended cylinder offering with a stem, cord, or power over cable. First out of the gate is going to be a 4-inch and 6-inch surface mount in both round and square. While it can be utilized as a standalone unit, I personally like it when it complements the solutions we've talked about today from Corelite and Metalux. Following suit, they will boast a flexible nature and incorporate multiple color temperatures, color options, and also include an emergency solution. Perceive has allowed us to create a thin form factor that is efficient when it comes to minimizing the material, keeping it cost efficient and allowing us to deliver a solution that delivers over 90 lumens per watt. How great is that? The ultra-thin surface unit mounts to the ceiling with a die-cast infinity edge that keeps it snug while minimizing the presence in a space. We know that this can quickly become a go-to solution for your everyday needs, given the versatility and affordability, so we made sure it was easy to install too. Perceive really is the next wave stream. It's providing a new solution that is not only easy to work with from design through construction, but it just looks cool.
Cheryl, it is cool. Another reason we're excited to talk about this technology, and think you might too, is the ease of maintenance aspect. It's a big part of why this technology was also developed. We know that every construction site is dirty, dusty, and while contractors do their best, fingerprints and glove marks end up on the finished side of the luminaire more often than we want. In healthcare applications, we recognize how it's important to minimize the dust ledges and make any light fixture or luminaire easy to clean. The optical system that we've created is built to resist oils and also be easy to wipe down. While it looks like there's nooks, notches, and edges that would typically collect dust, remember, that lens is flat. This seemingly dynamic surface, one with edges, form, texture, and a pattern that embraces the design or creates visual relief, is just a flat 2D surface. We'll send you a sample if you don't believe us. Any form, any pattern, just fill out a request. We just put a link in the chat comments of this live stream.
Oops, you caught me. I was taking a moment to ask for my sample. And you know what? You should do it too. Designing with Perceive is intentionally simple. With a set of patterns, the planes, lines, and dots can drop into your typical spaces, but provide you with an opportunity to secure points for well buildings. The high CRI qualifies for LO8. Vivitune qualifies for LO3, and the low glare system efficacy can also qualify for well points. Realistically, Perceive can be a solution for you anywhere, in any space with a roof over it. It's simple to use, and those minions do all of the work for you. There's even a neat tool to visualize these in your space before it's real. No magic required. Light Architect is an application Cooper developed and uses the power of augmented reality. While it's not the full rendering, it can give you a chance to quickly visualize what Perceive technology incorporated into a space could look like. Wait a second. Is this Light Architect? Is that an augmented reality or is that the real version of Lance? Lance, is that you?
Yep, it's really me, Sam. Perceive is the next wave stream, and we are just getting started. This technology is a unique platform that we intend to build on for the next several years. And there is some breaking news. Just in, the Metalux Perceive has been submitted for the IES Progress Committee for the IES Progress Report. Tune in to the virtual IES Annual Conference August 9th through 13th to see the results. And we are not done yet, but where we go from here is up to you. So please, tell us what you want. Where should Perceive appear next across all the Cooper brands? Go for it. Type it in the chat now or tell us later. We are listening. They say perception is reality and Perceive is a reality. By the way, has anyone seen that unicorn? Kevin, Cheryl, Sam.
You know, Lance, I think the unicorn got tired. I always thought it was fake, but maybe it's real. I just don't ever really understand what's going on with those things. The reality is, you know, I guess the unicorn is still here. The reality is though, well, we've got unicorns in our world and they may be imaginary. I mean, Perceive is real, isn't it?
I'm not sure anymore.
I'm really not sure anymore. But I think we've demythed the fact that Perceive isn't necessarily an illusion. It's a reality, it's real. And we want to get all of your questions answered. So, do me a favor, let's take a quick break. We've got a pet unicorn that we've got to take care of. So I tell you what, we're going to take care of this thing. Give us 60 seconds and we'll be right back to start the Q&A. Are you guys ready? Here we go. That unicorn, those burpees. Is there any? Do you know how many burpees I do? I think I did like 7 burpees this morning. Maybe I'll do 24 more tonight. What about you, Kevin? Are you in a burpee mood right now?
I'd go do some burpees right now, but I don't think I'm ever going to be able to top that unicorn.
That unicorn's got burpee fit. Hey everybody, thanks again for joining us. It's been a lot of fun to tell you a little bit more about Perceive here with the team from Cooper Lighting Solutions today. We're here to answer your questions. So if you haven't blown up that chat, get after it. We want to answer every single question you have. We want to get you as much information right now, as much as possible. And don't forget, if you want to get your hands on one of these, we put a link in the chat earlier. All you got to do is fill out a form, and that's right, you're going to get a sample of exactly what you want to see. How spiffy and cool and modern is that? Let's turn it over to Kevin and Lance.
It's either gonna be delivered by a unicorn or an agent.
Yeah,
and one or the other. I don't know.
And that's the best part, right?
Yeah.
And I know everybody wants to know, like, you know, can the unicorn come to birthday parties? Of course, you know, for the right price, we can get the unicorn anywhere. But they really like hanging out in the light space. It's a fun place to have it. What's your favorite thing about Perceive, both Lance and Kevin?
So my favorite part about Perceive is that it has the ability to take common form factors that can be a little bit ubiquitous and really just turn the notch up to be a little bit more visually interesting. What I also really like is that I really enjoyed the creative process in making these design patterns that we see today. And a lot of people watching right now actually had a huge part and a lot of influence in what these patterns actually ended up being. We found a lot of inspiration in the architectural space today. So things like the coffered ceiling, the textured wave wall, bringing nature indoors, those all had a big play. So I'm really grateful for that.
It's cool that you guys, you know, took feedback from the market and you put some biophilic elements in there, you put some geometric patterns in there. Lance, what about you? What's your favorite thing?
I think my favorite things are 3 things. One, it's affordability, both in terms of dollars and energy. Super efficient, so meets watts per square foot, and it's a super affordable solution. I think second thing is kind of a play on what Kevin said. It's available in a number of form factors. So whether it's the plain line or dot, and projects might have one or the other or all, but it's flexible. And then I think the last thing is that the perceived patterns create a distinctive look, but they're subtle. They're not overbearing. So I think it may have applicability in a lot of different applications potentially.
When we look at Perceive, obviously this is a full-blown technology. It's going into multiple form factors. Let's talk about that Metalux portfolio first and how that compares in the grand scheme of all those other products that you guys are offering price-wise. Where's Perceive falling?
Yeah, so the Perceive technology in general, I like to describe it three ways: distinct, adaptable, and affordable. And that last piece is really important for a lot of people. So we designed this to be a very affordable solution, and when we talk about the Metalux series specifically, you're going to see that it's really not a whole lot more than the Cruise series today. It's only about 10 to 15% more than the equivalent Cruise series, and it's going to be significantly less than the Encounter Wavestream series.
So it's a distinct and adaptable and affordable solution. Lance, how does that play into the SQ4 family?
Yeah, so very similar. Probably the cost adder is 10% or less over the current Corelite SQ4, which starts out as a very affordable solution. And one thing that we talked a little bit about, but I'll reemphasize, is that the Perceive optical system is only in the downlight, so you still get that super high efficiency batwing distribution up, and it's a very affordable solution, not only in the cost per linear foot of the product, but because the product is able to be used at very wide spacings, the overall installed cost is low as well.
I think that combination of both the Metalux and the SQ4 series is amazing. I actually got the opportunity to put one of them in myself here, and that lens literally just slides right in and turns an SQ4 into something just, like you said, a little bit more visually interesting.
Yeah.
I know that these are some ubiquitous form factors. They're used a lot in design, and in design there's kind of everything from quick hitting TIs to longer lead times, maybe for schools or bigger developments. What are you guys doing to address those quicker, shorter lead times with the Perceive technology?
So in the Metalux series today, we've got actually 8 stock configurations that are available to help with those quick turn projects, possibly some TI work. And we're working on boosting those numbers up even more so we can serve more projects and more customers.
Got it.
Yeah, and what Kevin mentioned is currently there's 8 SKUs, individual line items are in stock, so available to ship instantly.
Right.
And then in terms of the Corelite SQ4, available in the standard lead times that the SQ4, so no additional lead time with the Perceive optical system. And then the downlights aren't going to be introduced until first quarter of next year, but we expect those to be in the standard conventional lead times of our portfolio product.
That's awesome.
And we do have inventory on portfolio as well, because we do understand that TI projects and other projects happen quickly, and we shouldn't limit people's creativity by what we can ship in a relatively short period of time.
Absolutely. I mean, distinct, adaptable, and affordable, right? You gotta hit all the cylinders, whether or not it's in the product design or the actual design of a product and a system itself that the design community is working on. We've got a bunch of questions coming in. I want to dive into them with you guys. The first question is from HLB, and the question was around the control system. Is there anything else besides wavelengths that is compatible with Perceive technology?
So the standard option is going to be our 0 to 10 down to 1% dimming. And then we can also do other driver protocols like Lutron, Dolly. But as far as control systems go, we have the wavelengths, of course. We can also do enlighted. Okay. And really, there's just a lot of flexibility in the products that lend themselves to various product configurations.
So the reality is you've got a 0 to 10 volt driver in there, and you can put a control system in there that operates with that. Also, you can do something like Dolly or Lutron. I think that's great, being able to be agnostic, because you want to be able to, play in the biggest sandbox you can and make sure that you fit the needs of every client project, no matter what they're going after. Yeah. An additional question that actually came from Brad was talking about lumen color and lumen selectable options. Talk to me a little bit about what's going on with that in Perceive technology.
So I'll take that one. Our standard approach to architectural and specification products is we typically offer a wide range of available static CCTs, as well as our Vivid Tune, which is our white tunable solutions. And we tend to migrate the lumen and color selectable to the more affordable solutions that we have, kind of the step below the specification architectural. But if the marketplace says that there's advantages for lumen and color selectable, this technology exists to incorporate the perceived optical systems into products that offer both lumen and color selectable.
Sounds like you've got all your bases covered with that. That's a good thing. As a follow-up question, HLB had something when it comes to the linears, can you create shapes with those linears?
Yeah, sure. I'll take it. So the answer is yes. We have straight runs today, and we are working on some connector pieces that will allow you to do corners, different sort of patterns in non-lit. But we do understand that you may want, fully luminous patterns that have lit corners as well. Mm-hmm. And that's something that as we figure out which brands and which product families we'd like to integrate Perceive into next, could be in the Near-A portfolio. Yep. That's right up their alley, and that's something that we could absolutely do.
And I think that's what's cool about Perceive technology, right? It's a technology, and this can go on a broad portfolio of products. I shouldn't keep saying broad portfolio, obviously that's a brand, but right, many different products across the Cooper brands is something that you can incorporate this technology into. Again, from HLB, when it comes to that portfolio product, I know you'll be launching it early next year. Will that be JA8 compliant?
Yes, it should be. I'll make sure that, depending on which HOB office asks the question, we'll make sure somebody follows up. But we do have a wide range of JAA compliant products currently. And in fact, on our new website, there's a filter mechanism. You can actually find all the products that are JAA compliant. But I do believe at launch time, we will have JAA compliance, but we'll need to confirm that. And thanks for the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Moving on, we had a question from Thrive. They're curious, is all this stuff available up in Canada?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. But in fact, the standard offering, we dumb Americans, we could say for all your projects, yes, they're available right now, but we offer 347 as a standard option in the current product offering, and that is kind of one of our standard mandates is whether it's Chicago Plenum, Canadian voltages, we try to make sure that the products are applicable in, across a broad, wide geographical area.
Yeah. I think that's great. Got to service all of North America, right? Even our good friends up north in Canada, eh?
Yes.
Oh, I can't do the A. I just can't do it. Peter was curious. I know that there's 6 standard patterns in that Metalux portfolio. There's not quite as many in SQ4 yet. But what are you going to do in terms of adding patterns to this?
Yeah, so we have 3 geometric, 3 organic today, like you mentioned. Mm-hmm. And we have new patterns that are being developed right now. Okay. So we're actively trying to find out what are the next patterns that people want to see. So we want people's feedback as much as possible to help drive those. Because the last thing we want to do is make a pattern that no one wants to use. And then you hit on it. We're going to integrate these patterns into as many of these portfolios as possible where it makes sense, right? That bevel pattern might not be so conducive to a long linear layout, but it might be perfect for a 2x2 layout. Yep. And vice versa.
Yeah, I know the SQ4, obviously we have bevel in the cloud here today underneath us, and the SQ4 has that really cool slick look with the pyramid design, right? Yeah. It almost looks like this kind of cool square looking thing, and then the cross hatching just
the prism.
The prism, it just really highlights it and makes it look super nice. I want to just touch on also those custom patterns. We mentioned it a little bit earlier, but tell everybody a little bit more about your ability to create custom patterns and what's probably going to work best.
So this technology lends itself very well to doing some custom designs, potentially even some custom logo work. Mm-hmm. And what I'll say is that not every design and logo is going to be conducive to making it really pop like a 3D element. Mm-hmm. Usually it's things that have more hard edges, more geometric, that are going to allow that 3D-dimensional aspect of the optical technology to really work. Okay. And we are working right now and can work with anybody that's interested in doing some custom work, and we can work quickly to get a pattern out. And there is going to be a setup fee.
Sure.
But that basically means that for the larger orders, you're going to see that adder per fixture come down, and it may be a little cost prohibitive if you're only trying to do 1 or 2.
So it makes sense to maybe look at those bigger opportunities across the whole campus, whether it's healthcare, education, or maybe even just like a 2x2 every 4 feet in the Light-Eye office. Right?
There you go. We'll get your logo in there.
I don't know why not. When it comes to hello, Perky.
It's Perky.
Hey, Perky. It's good to see you. You want to take a question, Perky? Yeah, you'd like to take a question with you. Is it okay if Perky answers a question? Perky, we did have one question. Is this thing really 3-dimensional, or is it just two-dimensional? We're still trying to, figure that out. I know you're magical. What you're saying?
Oh, he's trying to tell us something.
What you're saying? It's 2 times the most amazing thing ever, right? is that really what you mean, Perky? I don't know if you can add a lot of value to us today, but he sure makes me laugh, this unicorn. I tell you, you can't get enough of them. But seriously, Perky, you got to get out of here because we got to finish this
Yeah, go on, get.
Don't you have a birthday party to go to?
I think I scheduled for like 3 birthday parties last night.
Oh yeah, he's
actually.
a popular guy
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
I like Perky. I mean, what can I say? I may or may not have been a mascot in my heyday, so it's a little fun to have with him. Jana didn't have a question about Perky or whether or not it's 2D or 3D. We know it's a 2D surface that looks 3D, but was curious, will there be IES files for all the different form factors and lens options?
Yeah, and in fact, they're available today. We have them sorted by each pattern type.
Okay.
You're not going to see a whole lot of lumen output or performance differences between the optics, so that makes it easier to design. It's really just a personal choice on the aesthetic.
Okay.
But we have Revit files, BIM files, and IES files for every single lumen package, every single CCT, every single pattern. It starts to get a little bit much, but it's nice to be able to select the one that you want without having to ask someone or wait a couple days to get that specific IES file.
And of course, the SQ4 hasn't officially been launched yet. It'll probably launch toward the end of August. So the IES files, of course, are not online. But just like Kevin said, the impact on the photometrics are probably less than 5% on the downlight and no effect on the uplight for the SQ4. So I think that kind of gives folks the ability to, kind of design, at least in concept, with the product today.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and I was going to mention that it has a little bit of improvement on the UGR. So, from a glare standpoint, if you're having to be designing for a well project, the patterns actually tend to bring the UGR ratings down 1 or 2 points, depending on aperture and lumen size.
That's great to know. Jessica wanted to know, what's the plans for the future here? More of a comment/question, but would there be an opportunity for a 24-36 or 40-inch diameter surface mount or recessed round?
Yeah, so I guess I'll take a stab at that. First of all, I know you asked about rounds, but there is or might be plans. So I'm working on something larger in a square form pattern, maybe like a 4x4.
Yep.
And then in terms of round, we're starting out with a 4-inch and 6-inch round and square kind of surface mount and recessed downlight dot type product. But please tell us, we already have been talking about, will there be a need or an interest in larger form factor round products? So yes, we've been talking about it. No, we don't have specific plans at this point, but we would love to hear from our design community,
Yep.
our sales agents. Let us know what you think, where you think you might use it and what your tools that you might need in your toolbox, and we'll be very quick to work on it.
Well, I think the good news is you have an ability to make larger form factors with this material. Obviously, you can put the patterns in a 2x2 or a 2x4, and you've put them in something as small as the SQ4. So it's nice that technology scales across the platform.
And I do want to mention one quick thing, which is there will be some form factors that don't lend themselves to these patterns. These patterns, to make the 2-dimensional material kind of pop in 3 dimension, requires a very specific uniform backlighting technology. So it's not as trivial as simply, although in the SQ4 it is simply a slide-in kind of lens assembly, but it does require a very certain uniform backlit. So some products may not lend themselves to introduction of this system.
There was one question from Nature Lighting actually, and they were curious about the fixtures. Can they be made in materials like 316 stainless, copper, or brass for maritime environments, typically high corrosive environments?
Great question.
Yeah, good question. I'm not sure I have the full answer with that, so we might have to get back to them. But we are, I guess what I can say is, and this might not answer their question fully, but we are looking at putting some of this or perceived technology into some fail-safe products that have a little bit more, we call it the alphabet soup, where there's just lots of certifications needed, whether it's wet location, certain ISO ratings. That seems like a perfect fit for Perceive from what we've seen.
And the linear and the downlighting products are, natural state is aluminum, either extruded or die cast. And we also offer something called a coastal construction paint finish that adds an extra level of corrosion resistance. In addition to, as Kevin mentioned, the troughers will be available in the future in a fail-safe product line, and that's where the housing would be made in stainless steel as an example. Don't know about copper and brass, but certainly we could look at those opportunities as they present themselves.
Well, it sounds like there's an opportunity to certainly explore those corrosive environments. So that's a good thing. Hopefully that helps answer that question right there. In terms of what's going on with that portfolio product, there was a question that came in that kind of just said, how do you benchmark the portfolio surface mount as opposed to the Halo surface mount products that might not have this technology built into it? Where would you use one versus the other?
Right, so I'll take a quick stab at that answer. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, it requires to make the optical system take two-dimensional and appear three-dimensional requires a very uniform backlit, or in the case of the portfolio, it's looking as an edgelit solution, which does require a very specific way to illuminate it, which may or may not lend itself to products, kind of in our Halo, some of our more cost-effective solutions like the SMD, which many of our folks know what that product is. But as time develops, as we see the applicability of this product, and again, if the demand is there, if the design community and our agents say, and contractors and distributors, end users, if people start to say, we really like this technology, it's affordable, it gives us a little visual interest, we're going to deploy it in other applications as we see fit. I think long term, we'll also make portfolio products with recessed is coming, so the housing's recessed with a lens that's both flush on the ceiling as well as regress potentially.
Okay. Well, it sounds like, what you're doing is you're really thinking through everything. You guys obviously understand that there's a place for each one of the products that fits into all of your brands across everything. Just want to put a shout out there. I think we've gotten through most of the questions here. If anybody else has any questions, we can hang on for a couple minutes and see if there's anything else that people want to know. One other question that I had that I wanted to talk just a little bit more, because I'm always curious about lighting, right? Lighting's fun. Talk to me a little bit about how, when you designed this entire optical system, what you really considered when it came to the design community. What did you know that was important to them, that needed to be and could be integrated into this that you hadn't done in the past?
Yeah, so I think with more and more focus being put around making comfortable spaces that limit that discomfort glare, that was first and foremost with this technology. Being able to create the pattern that you see on the surface is obviously a key aspect, but it has some inherent benefits when it comes to limiting that high angle glare. It also has some really good benefits around maintenance, and that's another, we can do all of these shapes in an actual three-dimensional form, but the benefit of having it on a completely smooth, flat surface is that you can easily clean it. And so that's the power of the optics, where something we wouldn't have been able to do in the past, we are now able to do.
I think sustainability, it's a big initiative. Obviously, the material is comes from recycled content, and it's available to be recycled at end of life. It uses less material than other solutions that are out there today, and solutions that we'll offer in the future. And again, back to the affordability thing, I think we recognize that a great technology that is super affordable limits the clients that have the opportunity to use it. And so we wanted to make the product affordable in terms of both dollars as well as energy efficiency. Again, power density and codes are really a driving factor. And then I guess the last thing, which we really didn't kind of focus on, except there's one question about, is lead time. Again, we recognize the fact that projects sometimes are moving very quickly, and again, a great solution that takes 27 weeks to deliver, isn't such a great solution, is it? So I think that was part of our thought process as well.
Well, I want to congratulate you guys, everybody at Cooper, on taking this technology and continuing to pioneer with it and do different things and put it in different form factors. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. I mean, I think it looks cool. My personal favorite thing is when you walk around the space, it just looks cool. And I'm not saying that because I'm saying that. I'm saying that because it's real. When you look straight up at it, you can almost not even tell that pattern is there. But as you start to, move around the room and step back and look, you can start to see that what you thought might be an illusion maybe is an illusion, but it's a reality. And you can see, perceive, you can see something in 3 dimensions that is just that 2D plane surface. On behalf of everybody at Light and Cooper Lighting Solutions, I just want to thank you for tuning in to join us for a fun event in the light space where we create interactive and immersive experiences. Hopefully we got all your questions answered. If we didn't, no worries. You can type them in the chat. We'll leave it open for a few more minutes and we'll make sure that people follow up with you. You can also call your favorite rep, your favorite regional, or you can just slide into our DMs at Light, you know, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Chat us up. We love to talk about light. We love to tell stories about light. I think that's enough, don't you? I think it's time to get back to work. Yeah? Everybody agrees? You guys agree? It's time to get back to work. You want to get back to work? We got lots to do.
Thanks, everybody.
We got more innovation to create. We got more stories to tell. Hang in there. Happy Thursday. We'll see you soon.